Welcome to another episode of Nintendo News Daily. I am your host, N64 Josh. Today, we're not even looking at news. We are talking only about Mario Kart 9. That's it. We had a request from the chat saying, yo, I want to talk Mario Kart 9. So that's what we're doing. I want to let everybody know that we are doing the 500th episode and the beginning of Season 8 of the Nintendo Powercast on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific to 11 a.m. Pacific. There you go. So 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube. And it's going to be fun. I've got a handful of the regulars, and I'm still working on a few other guests as well. So it should be a really, really fun show. I cannot wait. I can't believe 8 years. 8 years of talking Nintendo has gone by, all thanks to the Switch being so successful and the community being so amazing. So we're going to get to the intro, and then we're going to talk all things Mario Kart. Here we go. One last thing before we jump into it, remember that we do this show live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific. As of right now, this may end up changing. I'm just giving you guys a heads up right now, but I want to continue doing a live daily show. It's just all dependent upon schedule. That's it. So as of right now, it works for me to do it at this time, but that could be changing. So just stay tuned. I'll make sure I let everybody know. So we got nothing to worry about there. I see Cryptic is here. Joey is here. Joey, we're doing the show because of you, my friend. You said you had all kinds of thoughts on Mario Kart 9. So I want to jump into a few things right off the bat. So I was like, I'm kind of curious about the development cycle of Mario Kart games. Okay, going all the way back to 92. So the first Mario Kart was announced in 1991, released in 92. Okay, on the Super Nintendo. Mario Kart 64, announced in 95, released in 96. Mario Kart Super Circuit, announced in 2000, released in 2001. So as you can see, we've got 4 years between release dates, 5 years between release dates, between 64 and Super Circuit, which was a Game Boy Advance game. Double Dash, announced in 2001, the same year that Super Circuit came out, and then launched in 2003. Then Mario Kart DS, announced in 2004, 1 year later, came out 2 years later at 2005. Okay. Then you got Mario Kart Wii getting announced in 2007, coming out in 2008. So there's 3 years right there. 2010, Mario Kart 7 is announced. In 2011, it is released. That's 3 years. Then Mario Kart 8 in 2013, released in 2014. And then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, announced in 2016, released in 2017. And we know there wasn't a ton of work that went into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They redid the battle mode, few quality of life changes. I think the double items, I don't think that was a thing in the original Mario Kart 8. And then, of course, we got the booster pack. But that means we're looking at basically 11 years. 11 years. So to me, that means Nintendo has had plenty of time to cook when it comes to Mario Kart, right? Like plenty of time to cook. So it leaves the opportunity for them to do so much. I want to welcome in a few more people. I see Pokemon Fan is here. And Pokemon Fan says the first one was the year that I was born. I love it. That's amazing. Amazing. Nadine is here. What's going on? Cryptic says, how long for Mario Kart Tour from 8? Because I think technically they counted as a mainline, sadly. I just went through the Mario Kart wiki here, and I don't see a date for that one. Let me see if I can pull it up. But they do have, let's see, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which did come out, and then Mario Kart Tour. Hang on, I gotta refresh the page. Sometimes these wiki pages, the ads make them run absolutely horrible. So Give me just a second here so I can actually see. It looks like, trying to see if they show a date on it. Doesn't look like it doesn't look like they have a date here, unfortunately. Let me see if I can just kind of click through. You know, you've also got the Mario Kart like arcade game. So it came out in 2018. So developed by Nintendo and DNA. And of course, came out on iOS and Android. You know, and we have live Super Circuit or live. Let me see, get the name of it right. Live Home Circuit, right? Which that came out in looks like 2020, October 16th of 2020. But I mean, again, not really a mainline game, and I think the you know, the developers were Nintendo and VLAN Studios, and I think they were more tied to that car. Right. So, and making the whole AR thing work. So I don't think it was a lot of strain on Nintendo. So, just taking a look here at chat real quick. So Joey Pitts first, will it be Mario Kart 9 or 10? Does tour count? I mean, we're racing tour tracks in 8, right? So to me, that seems like it kind of counts. Nate says we need everything in Mario Kart 9 locked behind Amiibo. That's crazy. Well, okay. So if you guys are like me, you've probably watched the like 27 seconds of Mario Kart. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's a 2-hour movie, right? Like I just had it on repeat over and over and over again, trying to pick up any little detail on anything I could. The thing that makes me wonder about like the gimmick and what they're going to do in the next one is the fact that, like, if you look at the majority of the bikes in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and 8, they do not have both, like, you know, both shocks coming down. It's typically just one shock so that the wheel can turn for the Mario Kart 8 gimmick. I am speculating that Mario Kart 9 will go more back to the roots of the standard game, and that makes me think that, like, we may not have the gravity gimmick in the next game, because we can go and play this game, Mario Kart 8, if you're watching the B-roll, on our Switch right now. So that's kind of like, there's not really I don't see at this point a reason for them to, like, rehash everything that we had in this game, because we have 8 Deluxe right here. So I don't know what you guys think about that. If you think, and we're going to get into talking about all the different kind of game modes and everything else that you know, that may be there. But I'm wondering if, because 8 Deluxe is going to be fully backwards compatible, not to mention we have the first game, second game, the third game, all available on NSO right now. There's a whole lot there, right? I see Casey is here. What's going on? And looks like we're having some fun in the chat with a possible troll hanging out with us. You gotta love that. You gotta love it. And so welcome to the internet, you guys. So glad you're here. Looks like Cryptic's taking care of business. I love it. So going back, Nate said, let me play. Casey, what's going on? So good to see you. Taking a look at chat here. Pokemon fan says, I want more battle modes, courses, and a double dash mode. Interesting. Let's break that down real quick. Battle mode was fleshed out quite a bit in 8 Deluxe. I think it would be really good to see that mode fleshed out again in the next game. Make it something that we want to play, though, right? I feel like 8 left such a bad taste in everyone's mouth that when it came to battle mode in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it was kind of like it didn't get as much time in my mind anyway. I don't see it getting played nearly as much. But like when you're talking about the potential of 24 players in a battle style mode, well, that can be interesting, right? Because now you could have 4 teams of 6, you could have 3 teams of 8, 8 teams of 3. You know, you can do the math there, right? Things can get quite interesting when it comes to a battle mode with that many players. And if the worlds are as big and open as we've seen from just that 27 second trailer, I hope they lean into it. I hope there's plenty there that gets us wanting to play it. Right? The thing that I feel is most important is that this game has plenty of modes, something for everybody. And that's something that we, like, it's like with Mario Party Jamboree. Like, I want to play Koopathlon because I get to play with 8 friends. That's what makes that like so fun, is getting to play that with 8 people. So I want to, and then Koopathlon being 20 people, like, it's crazy that we can do that. I wish we could do it with customs. We can't yet. I'm hoping maybe in a future update, but then you also have your standard game, and you also have like the mini game bay, and they've just done such an incredible job of packing so much into Jamboree. They've had 11 years. They've had 11 years. Now, granted, it's not that team has been sitting there going, "Yo, we're just making Mario Kart." Of course not. Of course not. Like, that team, I want to pull it up here. Let's see who developed Mario Kart 8. We'll take a look. I know that's a kind of a when it comes to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I know there was quite a few different devs involved. But yeah, you have Nintendo EAD and Nintendo EPD. So that's the 2 main developers. Well, like, I mean, just taking a quick peek here at some of their more recent titles. I want to see if it gives. Here we go. I can just scroll down through the years, and it's looking like, let me see. Oh, this looks like it's a little bit out of date, unfortunately. It looks like it's up to date up until like the Wii U. So you've got like Animal Crossing, Happy Home Designer, Super Mario Maker, Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. So there's, these are mainline titles, Animal Crossing, New Leaf. So it's not that they're not just sitting there going, "Hey, we've been working on Mario Kart for 11 years. No, but that doesn't mean there couldn't have been some designated team members that are, that have been working on it for quite some time. And the rumor is it's the most expensive game Nintendo's ever developed. And fingers crossed, I hope that is the case. And I hope it pays off, right? They're taking that risk, basing it on the fact that, like, this goes all the way back to like Mario Kart Wii, I would say, maybe DS as well. But Mario Kart's always sold well. Like, if you look at sales numbers for Mario Kart games, they've always done well on all of the systems, So like, you had the first game did almost 9 million, the 64 almost 10 million. Super Circuit did almost 6 million, and it wasn't even that great, honestly. Double Dash did almost 7 on the GameCube. That's saying something. Mario Kart DS, 23 million, right? Almost 27. Mario Kart Wii, almost 38 million. Mario Kart 7 took a little bit of a dip at 18 million. And then 8 is an absolute powerhouse when you combine both the Wii U and the Switch. It's like 71 million units. Like that is insane. That is insane. Even Mario Kart Live Home Circuit did almost 2 million in sales. You know, so like I think it's not as much of a risk when they're like, yo, we're going to put a whole lot into Mario Kart. But at the same time, I mean, they are banking on the fact that hopefully this game not only moves a ton of Switch 2s, but hopefully it also it also sells really well itself. You know, there's a couple aspects to that there. So and then Pokemon Fan also says Double Dash mode. I've been hoping for this. I'm not a huge fan of Double Dash. Like the tracks are fun. The gameplay is stellar. I did not like 2 characters per carts because the carts didn't look like carts, and I love my pipe frame. I love, you know, I didn't love the 2 players. That being said, because I know there are people that do, I hope that Nintendo would come up with a way, just even if it's aesthetics, that's it. That if you want to throw, like, give us the ability to swap between items. And then if people want to use a Double Dash style cart, throw it in there. And just like I mentioned earlier with Mario Party Jamboree, a Double Dash mode could work. And if that's one of your favorite Mario Karts and that's where you want to spend your time, you could. Like, it would be like that'd be great. And I mean, I'm still holding out hope that Double Dash makes its way to Nintendo Switch Online at some point, you know? So moving along here, Joey says, I think there will be multiple modes such as Classic, Double Dash, Survivor. I hope that is the case. Joey says Survivor mode would be 24 racers. In every lap, they take the last 4 to 8 racers, like a Battle Royale style Mario Kart. Yeah, that's the thing. With 24 players, it opens up for so many fun modes. I mean, look at what Nintendo has done with F-Zero 99, right? I don't know that Mario Kart, because of items and everything, could really handle doing like a Mario Kart 99 unless they kind of like really stripped it down and really focused more on the racing. But if there is a 24-player survival and, you know, every like you were saying, every 4 to 8 every lap 4 to 8 people get eliminated, that's fun. That could be really fun. And maybe, we don't know, like we got to remember we're somewhat thinking about this as like standard Mario Kart, right? Like normal tracks, 3 laps. But if you're talking about a big open world, they could just have different checkpoints that you've got to be, you know, so far up in the pack in order to not get eliminated. And that, I mean, those kind of modes that would be super fun, and it's fresh, right? That's the thing I think that will really help this series is adding as much freshness to it as possible. I mean, what, 71 million people now? Obviously, some of us have double dipped because we bought it on Wii U and on Switch, but like, anything that adds some amount of freshness to the overall series is going to be more than welcomed. So Nadia says it will only allow 8 people that are friends. Geez, I hope they don't do that. I hope not. I think, and I'm not sure if it's I want to say it's the reason for it is Nintendo is probably tired of dealing with the conversation around lag. And when you're in the 20-player mode, I have a feeling it's trying to match you with people that are somewhat within the vicinity, right? To keep the lag down. It's just my gut feeling. And if you have 20 people, like, you know how we play, we've got people from the UK and all over the country and you know, Puerto Rico. I mean, it's worldwide. And so that can present issues, especially when you got 20 people. And again, it's a complete assumption here, but I've always kind of wondered and been looking for an answer on that one, why they couldn't do 20 people, especially in a mode it's essentially a bunch of mini games, right? That you're not, well, until you get to Bowser. Once Bowser, everybody's on the same screen. So I get it. That could be the issue there. Joey says 24 people racers, so they need to bump up the roster number. Yes. And I'm gonna go out on a limb for Joey here and say bring more Kongs, because I know Joey would love that. Let's see here. Cryptic says, I would be happy with no gimmicks. Let's focus on the item management, like how Mario Kart 7 was simple. A little too simple, but the gliding was more for 3D, but wasn't a huge gameplay gimmick. 8 with gravity didn't really add much. It didn't feel like it was on. It didn't feel like I was on gravity. I get you. I understand what you're saying. It was just they just basically. I think the fun aspect of gravity is the fact that you could turn tracks upside down. Like if you think about what was it, Mario Circuit? I think it's Mario Circuit. It's the figure 8, but you're doing the track upright and you're doing it underneath it. That was cool, but you're still always the same direction. It's not like you're going upside down. It's not like, remember in F-Zero how they would have cylinder tracks where you could like literally go up, like fully around. So even though you were technically upside down, you were still right side up on your screen. So it didn't really change. It didn't really change too much of the gameplay. So let's see. What? I don't know what Nate. If they Nate just randomly put a rat in his message here. Says that they implement that in Mario Kart, I'll be mad. And there's a rat in his message. And then he said, okay, phone, cool. Let's just put emojis instead of what I write so I can talk like a teenager. I love it. So Cryptic says one change I would like is how to view characters. Get rid of babies, get rid of pink, gold, peaches, etc. If they do add them for some reason, make them like how they do Yoshi. Interesting. Okay, so let me ask you then, because like I just saw on screen, Cat Peach, which they technically have different stats, right? So and one big assumption I think that most people have is that this game is going to have like aesthetic items, different outfits, different maybe different accessories for your carts. Like one of the things I love, guys, if you go into Mario Odyssey, Mario has a full race suit, helmet, everything. He's got a black one and he's got a white one. And I've been running around in the white one and he's got a baseball cap on backwards. Like I want to see those kind of outfits in Mario Kart. Like tennis has tennis outfits, golf has golf outfits, strikers has whatever strikers has, because it's just like a little bit weird. But I want to see racing outfits for every character, as well as their, like in Aces, everybody had their tennis outfits, but then you can unlock like Mario's outfit, Luigi's outfit, Wario, Waluigi, I think maybe Peach and Daisy as well. I can't remember, but they added those in after the fact as things that you could unlock. So Cryptic says it opens up an additional box to choose what kind of Mario you want, like Echo Fighters. Yeah, and so I think I get what you're saying too, if it's like Echo Fighters. The other thing is I want to do away with the stats meaning so much. Basically, I want to see the majority of the characters, like maybe they go back to the heavy, medium, light. I'm not quite sure how they do it exactly. I have talked for a while about transmog in Mario Kart, where you could basically pick the meta stats and then pick whatever setup you want. I know Nintendo is paying attention. They're doing their championships and they're seeing everybody run Yoshi, Wiggler, Small Wheels, or I'm sorry, Yoshi, the Teddy Buggy, right? It was Waluigi and Wiggler for the longest time. Like they have to be paying attention to the meta and realizing that it's like, if you're gonna create a game with a meta, take away all the other carts and just make everybody in pipe frames at that point, or in a standard cart. Because if everybody wants to play as the best setup, then make the best setup not look so bad, and just have that be the case. I like variety for some people are changing their setups all the time. That's not me, but other people do. And it would be really nice to see, like, it doesn't matter what setup I'm in, I'm still going to be able to be in the meta. Maybe it's not possible, but I hope they are getting creative with how they are viewing it. So Nate it wasn't a rat, it was a mouse. If they implement the mouse in Mario Kart, I'll be mad. Okay. It all makes sense now. So okay, guys, there's so many chats to catch up on, so forgive me. I'm looking here. Okay, Cryptic says Double Dash felt more like racing boxcars, which I liked, but I can see what you're saying. Oh, going back to the talk on Double Dash, right. Joey says, like, drop Mario Kart 9 title. It's is it Mario Kart Ultimate, like Mario Kart U? Is it going to be Nintendo Kart? Like, I don't think it'll be the case. I think it'll still be Mario Kart. The name was too well known, and it's on so many, like, there's so much merch out there that says Mario Kart. Like, I'd have a hard time believing they'd go away from that name. It holds too much brand equity, you know. Where they have modes roster, I can keep adding as oh, I see. Like, drop Mario Kart 9 and it's Mario Kart Ultimate, where they have modes rosters and can keep adding as a live service for years to come. And I do hope they do that, and I hope they do it very consumer friendly. That's the hope, that they do it just, it doesn't look too predatory, right? My biggest thing is I just want, and I've said this, I sound like a broken record, I want Mario Kart fresh and with new content being added on the regular, so that, like, you know, we can jump into other games, but Mario Kart can kind of be my main game, like it is now, but it's still staying fresh. Maybe there's seasons, you know, and there's so many ways that they can go about it. That doesn't have to be like so many microtransactions and just making it too expensive. So Cryptic says we still don't know if it's 24 racers, so still want to see, but have my hopes high. I mean, that first video shows more than 12. So to me it's saying, yeah, we're gonna, and maybe that's the gimmick. Maybe the gimmick is we're doubling the racers, right? We're doubling the racers. We're going, for lack of a better term, we're going back to boots on the ground, and it's just getting back to basics. Because you got to remember too, if they're going to support this game for a long time, they have plenty of opportunity to focus on the older games and bring them back in one way or another. Like, I don't know about you guys, but looking at the one stage that they've shown us, and it being something really, really large, it would be really cool and kind of very Nintendo if we went to Super Mario Kart Land, and within that giant sandbox is each track, and it looks like updated graphics, and you could drive between them, you know, and then maybe start races on them, and then that's one whole area, and it has all of the old tracks that way, but redone in order to really fit with 24 racers, because that's another issue, right? And then, you know, if they are going to do like the live service or continue doing seasons, and I don't think I think I think Nintendo will not lock anything behind a paywall when it comes to tracks. I think they know it will backfire on them. And so that being said, then, just kind of going down the list, you've got a Mario 64 land, and then you've got a Game Boy land, and then a GameCube land, and that brings your Double Dash stuff. But it's putting them like it's almost like a golf course at that point, where it's like, here's track 1, here's track 2, and you just kind of, maybe you decide how you want to play. Maybe I don't know if they somehow incorporate all of it. And again, it's just pure speculation and just for the sake of conversation. But I would love that if like even if they had like the box art and stuff like that, where it was like, you're essentially in a world where all of these tracks exist. But then if you want to time trial them, you time trial them. If you want to do battle mode, you can just be all over that place. 24 players. Again, pure speculation. Not quite sure how they're going to do it, but looking at how big that first area looked, that could be a possibility. So just moving on down here. Pokemon fan says Mario Kart always sells. Oh, yes. Yeah, Joey says, now do you think the roster grows more for Mario characters and some Donkey Kong, or like Smash with other Nintendo franchises? Other Nintendo franchises for sure. Like, no question. I mean, we've got Animal Crossing, we've got Zelda. Like, we've technically got F-Zero's in there, Splatoon, right? Like, I think they're already showing that they want to open it up to more IP. So bring it on. Like, bring it on. I want to see Samus in a cart. I want to see Zelda in a cart, not just Link. And Kirby. I think Kirby would be like, the Nintendo trolled us and teased us so hard with Kirby on Rainbow Road. Like I'm ready for that to become a reality. I think it would be great. And Cryptic says, I want them to go deep. I want them to go super deep into it. Maybe the double dash mode can be incorporated into that. Team racing and all combinations, new items designed for team. Maybe we can jump on our team's carts. It's a double dash cart. I mean, again, like the possibilities are endless, and they have a deep history to pull from here. There's so many different games that they can pull from, and pull like cherry pick the best things of each of those games. And I'm really not at all worried with what they're going to do with this game. I think my biggest concern is like, what mode am I going to no life first? That's what I think is really going to be the trickiest thing about this, is like, what am I going to be the most interested in playing? And is it, if there's a single player element, are we going to unlock stuff with that? And so are we going to want to play through that before we really dive into multiplayer? And so I'm so curious. I'm curious on like, what's the community going to be drawn to? Like, obviously the community that's into the lounge and the real serious racers, that's going to be a different group than like the casuals that are just, they're just racing for fun and having a good time and playing with whatever characters they want. But then again, if you got these battle modes and you've got, a double dash mode if you want, or these, single player, where's the majority of people going to end up? Especially, if they do something like a battle royale kind of mode, is that where you're going to see a lot of the community move towards? I don't know. I don't know, but I have a feeling we're going to have plenty of choices, and more than likely, like my hope is that I'm going to have like a schedule for streams. It's going to be like, okay, we're doing battles on Mondays, and we'll do this mode on Tuesdays and this mode on Wednesdays, and so on and so forth, right? And it just continues to grow. So I would love that. So, okay, I'm moving through. Joey says, drop stats. Let me race against something other than Waluigi and Wigglers. Yes. Pokemon fan says, I like wigglers. Don't judge me. No judgment. No judgment at all. Nate and A says something implemented like Sonic Racing is doing, where first place picks where to go would be awesome. No two races are the same. That's a massive gimmick. Like that's a huge gimmick. And again, you're talking about such a huge world that like anything's possible, right? I mean, imagine first place throws a green pipe, you know, and that's, you drive into it and then you come out on the other end. I can already hear the sound. All of us can, right? Like the warp sound. Like, what if warp pipes are part of the gimmick when it comes to the next game? Like, just like Sonic's doing with coins, Nintendo could do with warp pipes. It's very possible. And that would allow us to then go, yo, I'm doing track, or lap 1 is gonna be like Koopa Beach on the 64. Let's say we were in the 64 land, if you will. Again, just speculating, but Koopa Beach, maybe you select these ahead of time, and if you're in first, your selections get chosen. So like you're doing Koopa Beach, and then you're doing Choco Mountain, and then you're finishing the third lap on Rainbow Road. That would be crazy. And maybe that's just a mode, right? They just call that the warp mode or something along those lines, where it's a different race every time. I love that kind of stuff, Nate. That's a fantastic idea. Cryptic says, I would just like them to combine to have a room for more racers. Oh yes, of course. So EGAD, Captain Falcon, Dixie Kong, etc. More in the Nintendo universe, please. Pokemon fan says, I want Goomba and a racer as a racer, and Spike. Let's go. I'm here for it. Also being able to change the time of day. Yeah, that would be cool as well. It would add, and maybe the weather. I think there's some stuff they could do there. Joey says nothing in games nothing in games like they hype over new racer fighter or race. Yes. So when Smash would do the ultimate or do the fighter pass and a new character was coming out, the hype was crazy. Knowing that with like in every upcoming direct or at least maybe once a quarter, even if once or twice a year, we know we're going to get something Mario Kart related. Sign me up. I love, the community loves that stuff. Like absolutely loves that stuff. When there's additions added to the most popular games, everybody is hyped about that. Everybody gets hyped. So love that. Pokemon fan says some different ways to travel, like boats. Ooh, instead of just going underwater, maybe being able to stay on top. It'd be interesting. It would also mix up the track design as well. Having to basically give you that option to be above or below. It could be kind of fun. Joey says, like the 2000 era free roam ATV games where you can just do tricks and explore. I mean, those were fun. Also, Pokemon fan wants Pokemon racers. I don't blame you. Joey says, OMG, bring Ness to Mario Kart. I think there could be some fun had there. Like I'm not super familiar with that game outside of the characters from Smash, but like I do think that they could have some fun with the Earthbound characters. Nate says, just imagine Glass Joe and Kart with his hair blowing in the wind. I love it. Cryptic says, do you think they expand on anything regarding how we play Grand Prix? Maybe it's open world like Forza. Maybe online is an open world lobby. We race around, do custom lobbies for battle, team, or solo. That's where my gut feeling is. It's going to be a little more of an open world experience. I'm hoping that the single player experience is more than just Grand Prix. But maybe it's kind of like that story mode. I say that, not that I want to see them take Grand Prix away. Like, I think Grand Prix is still going to be there. It's a staple, right? It has to be there. But But when it comes to single player, like, to have the Grand Prix mode, fantastic. But then to also have this, are we delivering food? What is that? What is that package? Is this Mario Kart DoorDash? Like, what is that bag of food at that hamburger stand from Yoshi? I'm very, very curious about that, and to see how that is going to affect things. And again, a Crazy Taxi, Simpsons Hit and Run a style mode, sign me up. Like, that's super fun. With the Mario Kart mechanics, where, like, maybe you get an order, you've got 3 mushrooms, you got to try to get there as fast as you can. Maybe there's time trial elements to that, like, if everybody is essentially doing, the same orders, having leaderboards to see who can get that order done the fastest, maybe even seeing ghosts of that, where you could watch the ghosts to see, like, what path did they take to try to get the food delivered as quickly as possible. If that's what these bags of food are, again, I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see. I see Miguel is here. What's going on? Welcome on in. We are talking all things Mario Kart 9 right now. And so good to have you. Cryptic says, something I would like to see is return of challenges from DS. Maybe it's more live service and we have weekly challenges to get players to try different kart combinations. Yes. I'm here for it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, anything to just keep adding variety is going to be a good thing. Nadine says ultimate pickups, and each character has their own ultimate. Oh, this is where it gets tricky. I think yes, but it might have to be locked behind a mode, right? There might have to be like an ultimate mode, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Double Dash get fairly unbalanced the moment certain characters used their power-ups, because they were far more OP than what other characters had, like Bowser's giant shell, or like the what was it, 5 fireballs from Mario and Luigi if you doubled up those characters. So I guess with enough balancing, maybe it would work out. And as long as it was done in a way that was like maybe on a timer, not necessarily item based. I'm not sure. I don't know how they could flesh it out. But if Nintendo does it, there's a pretty good chance they're going to do it right. And I'm definitely down to see and try anything like that. So, Babies had a chain chomp. Yeah, that's right. So there was a lot of different items when it came to the ultimate stuff. Now, even speaking of items, like, I hope they bring back a lot of the items from. There was a handful of items from like Mario Kart Wii that I thought were fantastic that just kind of got left there, which was unfortunate. Like the Mega Mushroom or whatever, like that was great. Getting, instead of everybody else shrinking, you got really big. Like that kind of stuff is just really, really fun. And so, and I do wonder too, if, like right now, if you think about it, basically mushrooms, stars, anything like that, there's a handful of items that will allow you to drive on the off-road. I'm curious if we get to a point where you could take certain shortcuts, but only if you had certain items. Like, let's say that you have the Mega Mushroom, maybe you could clear out a path that you couldn't go on otherwise, but it would also open up that path for anybody behind you, right? So that shortcut could be opened by you by taking that Mega Mushroom. And so that would be also kind of an interesting gimmick as well, where it's like the track can change on the fly depending on what item you have, and it may also be modified then for everybody. So just taking a look at chat here. Cryptic says, add a streamer mode so we can vote for specific in-game moments. We can reverse N64 Josh controls and not be able to use items. I love that. I'm here for it. Miguel says, I love the Wii, but I struggle to play on it because Wiimote was very wonky for me. Yeah, I never loved the motion controls, and I felt like motion controls kind of hindered the overall enjoyment of Mario Kart Wii. I think they did their best, but if they would have basically flipped their thinking on it and made it first for controller and then added motion second, it felt like motion was their main focus and then added controller second, and I feel like that's what kind of hindered me a bit. So Pokemon fan says, I know Peach and Daisy had the hearts. Yes, that's right. That is right for Double Dash. Cryptic says, I know we discussed this, but cart loadouts, add a terrain gimmick where it lets you choose which wheels work best here and have pros and cons of choosing something over the other. Yeah, this is something I've been talking about this. I want to say as far back as 2019 is seeing weather effects in, because we used to speculate that the next Mario Kart was coming to the Switch, right? I think everybody assumed Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was going to be nothing more than a filler game while we waited for the next Mario Kart to come out, because it's such a fantastic game. Like pretty much every Wii U title, especially from first party, that like why wouldn't it go to Switch? But then it ended up becoming an absolute just top seller, you know, the most sold game on Switch. So at that point, it frees Nintendo up to go, okay, we've got time, we know we've got a hungry community for this. And I mean, I think they made the right choices, I think, by adding, doubling the amount of tracks. But again, with that, doubling the amount of tracks, are we going to see as much of this classic Mario Kart? Or are they going to say, hey, if you still want that, go play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? I mean, the likelihood that they're going to mention Mario Kart 8 Deluxe ever again, pretty slim. Short of them saying like, hey, coming to Nintendo Switch Online is going to be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, something along those lines, then maybe. So, but as far as like, yeah, if you are in, the rain on a dirt track, well, now you're dealing with mud, right? So having the right setup to be able to be in the meta, that also is going to mix up how everybody looks and what everybody's racing. Cryptic says, I can talk Mario Kart for hours. Glad you chose Friday for this when work is slow. Yes, I'm loving this. I'm loving it. And I've been playing Mario Kart since the release. Like it is a series that I love. I have a Mario Kart shrine. I've started on my second Mario Kart shrine behind me right now. Like, Jasmine got me the Mario Kart First for Figure that is behind me. My alarmo just went off, and it's the sounds of Mario Kart right now. So like I'm all about it. I got Mario Kart Christmas ornaments on my desk. Mario Kart McDonald's toys on my desk. Like my screensavers on my Stream Deck are Super Mario Kart, so I can't look anywhere and not see Mario Kart. My lanyard from PAX is Mario Kart with every single one of the Mario Kart PAX pins, plus some pins from My Nintendo, I think My Nintendo Japan. Like, I love this series. So it's something I could talk about for hours as well. Like it's just a big part of me. Like, and we've added and met so many new people in the community because of Mario Kart and being able to race Mario Kart together. I mean, my subs on TikTok are referred to as the Kart Club. So like it's Mario Kart's what it's all about. I've been streaming Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, building community for when the next game comes out, because I'm such a huge fan, and it's so accessible for so many people, right? That's what I love about it. So, Cryptic says, also bring back online rankings. Yep, there we go. Anything that's like more community focused, I'm here for. I missed the 3-star title, doing Grand Prix races. Same. I was so bummed when that went away. Nate says, here's a question. What would make you disappointed with Mario Kart 9? I think if it just felt like a rehash of 8, right? Which is like if they were going to do that, I think they would have shown us something different. And so I think if they weren't, anyway, what it looks like they're doing is that they are taking a bit of a risk with like maybe this open world thing. That would that honestly gets me excited, right? If it ends up playing a little bit more like Forza or something along those lines, that makes me happy, right? If they took the just the safest approach ever for a game that they've had so much time to develop, I think that would be the hardest pill to swallow. And I don't know how the community would, how well they would accept that, right? Like we've all seen the gaming landscape has changed significantly, and games have to evolve. I think the continued content is very important. And so I think, Nate, to sum up what would disappoint me the most is if there was not a drip feed of content. If they're like, it's a one and done, which I can't imagine that being the case, that would be the hardest pill to swallow. If it was like, here's your game, we're not doing anything else, which, I mean, look at Odyssey, look at Mario Wonder. They have done this. They have done this where they've not added stuff after the fact. And so that would disappoint for sure. Miguel says, would a Paper Mario DLC skin be in would Paper Mario be in Mario Kart, or Paper Mario DLC skin in Mario Kart 9? I mean, again, depending on the direction they take this, we could have a Paper Mario Land where we're racing tracks that look like Paper Mario, as well as getting, carts and characters from that series. And I think that's really what, if they end up locking things behind a paywall, I think it would be like, okay, you can race the Paper Mario areas, but you can't race as Paper Mario unless you pick up the DLC. And you can only race those in online, right? So you still give everybody a chance to not split the community. You give everybody a chance to race. But if you want to be able to take full advantage, you're going to have to buy the DLC. And that's not to say that they couldn't come packed in already, right? Like I think this game is going to surprise us with how full and how much content is here, just like Super Mario Party Jamboree has done. And it being showed, the 3 stars being showed online. Yes, Cryptic, I'm definitely with you. So, moving on here. Oh, here we go. Not having NFTs and $40 skins would make me disappointed. Yes, no, like the pricing needs to be on point. And this game needs to be loaded with content, like just absolutely packed to the gills, so that it wouldn't be difficult to say, yeah, I'll gladly buy DLC or a season pass or whatever the case may be if I want to keep adding to this game. I don't see anything wrong with it as long as it's like packed. And to me, like even giving away, if let's say they do battle passes, make battle passes included with the game for the first like 2 seasons, right? Maybe even 3 or 4 seasons, depending on how big they are, how long they are. Just a thought there. So let's see. Cryptic says, man, I wish I knew the release date already of the system and Mario Kart. Yes. Same. Yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready to know. I am so ready to know. Cryptic says, something we didn't mention is CC types. Do you think we see more? Is 200cc a standard now? I think it is. I think 200cc is most definitely a standard. I think the beauty of 24 racers means a couple of things. It means you got to have bigger tracks. Bigger tracks means it's going to be easier to control your 200cc when you're racing those tracks, right? I think the narrower tracks that we deal with in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is sometimes part of the issue with why 200cc can be a little bit more difficult. There's plenty of those tracks that were not designed for 200cc, and you can tell the tracks that were designed for 200cc. And so I think, especially if we're going like potentially like big open world or having some of these tracks be better, maybe there's a chance even for faster than 200cc. I would be completely okay with this as well. Like maybe there's a 300cc. It's just going to really depend on what Nintendo wants to do mode wise, how accessible 300cc could be to everybody. But I mean, getting to go crazy fast and seeing it at a potential 120 frames a second. Yes. Yeah. Sign me up. Sign me up right now. Right now. I'll buy 4. You know, I will buy 4. Let me start racing. I'm so ready to start racing. So, well, guys, we are right almost to that 1 hour mark. And I just want to remind everybody, the 500th episode of NPC is happening on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I've got a couple of the regular crew joining. I'm going to try to get a few other guests, maybe even some old hosts returning. I just got to wait and see. And it's going to be a really good time. I cannot wait to hang out with you guys and be able to just to look back on the last 8 years, which is crazy. We're going to take one more topic here real quick. And Cryptic says, can we talk about competitive? We see Nintendo try and negate sandbagging, etc. Anything you want to see about that? I mean, I feel like 24 players is going to make sandbagging a little bit more difficult, right? Like I could be mistaken, but like I don't know. I feel like your bullet bill, like let's just say for instance, you're in 24th place. Right now in 12th place, you could get a gold mushroom and a bullet bill, and if you time it right, if you're good at bagging, you could take that all the way to first, right? Well, that I'm assuming now, if you get those two items, it's probably only going to take you to 12th, right? So that in and of itself means you're going to want to be fighting for first the majority of the time. Are there going to be bagging tracks and running tracks and, you know, the different terminology that goes into like what's happening in the lounge and that kind of stuff? Potentially, but we know Nintendo's not a huge fan of it. Like, and it's one of those things in gaming. It like all I can think back is to Jurassic Park. Life will find a way. Right? Like it doesn't seem to matter at times what these companies do in games. Life will find a way. Life will find a way. So I do hope that the competitive side of things is super, super fun. And, you know, my hope always is that I don't love seeing these gimmicks that are essentially birthed from the community where it's like, okay, let's do motion glider, right? Where you're pausing the game, turning on motion, turning the controller real quick so that you can get the double input. Like, to me, Nintendo probably should have patched that out, but I don't know how the community would have felt about that, right? Like, and then do they reset the like at that point, if they had done that, those time trials would be solidified. They would have had to reset them, you know, and maybe that's something that happens this time around. Maybe time trials get reset. So it encourages people to jump back in and try to set that fastest speed. You know, I don't know anything that's, I would love to see from Nintendo just say, hey, these are our 4 time trials tracks this week, like what we do in the Discord, right? Where we do pipe trials and everybody uses the pipe frame and we vote on new tracks each week. Like I would love to see modes like that, especially if it's like, hey, once you've done X amount of time trials or you've done, you know, 6 weeks of the time trial challenge, you unlock this racing outfit for whoever you're playing with. You know, that kind of stuff, that carrot on the stick is what gaming is all about right now. It's where that dopamine hit comes from, and Mario Kart is going to need it. So fingers crossed that kind of stuff is there. So Glad to hear things are good, Joey. We are going to wrap up right here. Thank you guys again for another amazing week. Appreciate all of you so much. And we will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.